Hi there, so it's Stuart here from Resale Homes in Paradise. I'm going to walk you through our top 10 questions we're receiving right now. We're still getting quite a few inquiries, which is really good. I think people are fed up with being on lockdown and being stuck at home in places that are cold. So let me walk you through them. So question number one, how is the lockdown in Spain? Well, firstly, the lockdown is being controlled by each autonomous region. So we're in Andalusia. Today is the 23rd and we just found out we're having an extension until December the 10th. What does this mean? Well, we can't travel between municipalities unless we have a valid reason. So for work, for instance, in my case, I have appointments, I can take customers to see properties. The other thing is, we were only allowed to open bars and restaurants until 6 p.m. That continues, people can still be on the terrace, but you can actually operate till 9:30 p.m. if you're offering takeaways. Okay, and the last thing is there's still the curfew after 10 o'clock at night. So whilst it isn't a real heavy lockdown, we are somewhat locked down. And of course, here in Spain, we're all still social distancing and we're all still wearing our masks on the street. So I think it's being managed quite well. Number two, the next big question, what's the weather like? Well, right now I'm in the office, I do have a jacket on, but outside it's 18 degrees and we're here in Sotogrande area. 18 degrees and sunny. Not bad for this time of the year. So question number three is, can you still play golf? Yes, you can, and I'm loving it. The courses are quite empty, as you would imagine, but so long as you stay within your municipality, you can play whichever courses are within it. So I'm very fortunate living in Sotogrande. Our municipality is San Roque, which means we can play Alcaidesa, we can play San Roque Club, we can play La Cañada, which I played a couple of days ago, playing Alcaidesa tomorrow with clients. We can play Valderrama if we could afford it. And you know, on the Costa del Sol, pretty much every municipality has got a great couple of golf courses within it. So fourth biggest question, is now the time to buy? I think it's a really good time. If there could be a better time, there might be blanket reductions coming the next couple of months. What I can tell you is every customer I've taken out on a viewing tour who has placed an offer has had a serious consideration of that offer, and we've found middle ground, typically about 5 to 10% below the asking price. Our job is to find the middle ground. And whilst you could wait, some people predict that there's going to be a strong rebound next year in 2021 with the vaccine. I've already told you the inquiry level is really high, so it could be a good time right now if you can get here to make an offer and see where you get. The next big question we get is about mortgages. How much can you borrow and what are the interest rates like? So in Spain, if you're a non-resident, you can borrow 70% loan to value, typically, especially if you come from the EU. The interest rates are about 2%. What they tend to do is front load the interest rates. So first year, you might be paying 2.5%, and then it settles down to about 1.8%, giving you an average just around 2%. So back to the previous question, is now a good time to buy? Well, with the mortgage rates as they currently are, and if you are looking for financing, it could be a good time to buy now before the interest rates change. We do expect the interest rates to stay low for a long period, but there's also further regulation about who you lend to and things like this. So the best thing is find the property, make a strong offer, get your mortgage organized, and then close. The next question we get a lot of is, do you do fincas? Well, as you would know, all agents collaborate here on the Costa del Sol. We share properties with each other, and therefore, when another agent has a listing, we can bring customers to view it by registering that customer. We've done a lot of finca finding of late. People just want a lot of outside space. Up in Casares is a really interesting area. Behind Sotogrande, there's San Martin, and there's further areas along the coast, sort of Estepona, Campo. So we have done a lot of this searching. The one thing is you need to check that the buildings on the plots are legal, because typically with fincas, it's very difficult to get mortgages. So we need to check that all the paperwork's in order, and that's where our trusted lawyer comes into play. Another common question is, if we buy to rent out, should it be short-term let or long-term? Now, normally we would recommend short-term, because that is where you can actually make more money, and it's safer to protect yourself, because as long as your tenants don't put your property as their home address, they can be evicted in case anything should go wrong. And of course, if you do short term, a property manager is constantly checking the property. Always, we recommend the property manager, either Suzanne, who has Vida Carefree Living in the Marbella area, or George, who has Halo Holiday Rentals in the Estepona to Sotogrande area. Those are our partners. Now, back to the question, I would actually suggest midterm. So we've got this current pandemic happening, so midterm would be 6 months. So I would probably rent it out to someone for a 6-month period of time just to cover yourself until we hope the vaccine comes, people can travel here more easily, and then you can play again in the short-term market and make better returns. Question number 8, have developers dropped prices? They're starting to, not massively. So I post something every day or whenever I get some interesting opportunities on our Facebook group called New Developments Direct. This is basically, as the name suggests, new developments with direct pricing. So obviously we're passing on the same prices that the developers give to us, to our customers. Recently I posted how there was about a €30,000 drop in some prices at a lovely development called El Mirador de Estepona. There are special price units we hear of which we can then put on that same Facebook group. If you reach out to us and if you know a particular development and you want us to check, we can do that. And of course, we always try and get a little something. The developers have not increased prices, but what they haven't done is reduce prices across all of the units. So we have to find the special priced units. Which areas do you love? Well, if I look at East Marbella, my favorite area there is Elvira and Marbella. Marbella is a leafy beachside area, beautiful villas down there, and it's getting a little bit pricey. A lot of people are going in there, buying old villas, doing them up, and the reason is because it's literally 150, 200 meters to the beach from many of these villas, and the main sort of point of reference, I think, is Sinbad's Beach Bar. Elvira, absolutely lovely. Don Carlos Hotel, great commercial area, really good shops, bars and restaurants. Now, if we move on to the other side of Marbella, so the west side, of course, I love Estepona. It's just such an incredible city, hugging the coast, and it's been developed so well with so many interesting things like bike lanes, a university is coming, beautiful manicured gardens. It's known as the Garden of the Costa del Sol, the Jewel of the Costa del Sol it's also called. And of course I love Casares Playa, where Finca Cortesín is, that famous and luxury hotel. And my backyard is Torre Guadiaro, where you can still get really good prices, and it's a stone throw from Sotogrande. Sotogrande is amazing. It's a gated community, of course, it's a little bit more expensive. And then right on the west side of the Costa del Sol is Alcaidesa, which is a real gem. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from Malaga Airport, but most people, let's say Brits, they could fly into Gibraltar. Love Alcaidesa. The 10th question is, can you help with residency? Well, we're in the business of selling homes, but what we do have is a great relationship with, I would say, the best lawyer on the Costa del Sol. And I know that's a big claim, but he really is amazing. Santiago de la Cruz. So we work with him pretty much for every transaction we do. And when you buy a property, he can then move to the next gear, which is helping you get your residency, which means you have to do your empadronamiento, so you register yourself to a particular area, and then you have to have health insurance, but he will guide you through all of those steps. Now you have to get your application in before the 31st of December to stand a chance of getting your residency as a Brit. If you miss that cutoff point, of course, Spain still has the golden visa when you invest in properties to the tune of €500,000, or you have something called the non-lucrative visa, which is where you're not working and you show that you have an income of about €27,000 a year for a couple. So there are options if you miss the cutoff point. But again, work through a trusted lawyer.